So, Mr. Grayson, what inspired you to run for office?
The treatment of Ron Paul. I didn't like the fact that we have a political system, both parties, that have locked the American people into a box along, I won't say a box, let's say a funnel. And they control the flow of information that goes into that funnel. And then that information is disseminated by the press, which is also complicit in that flow of information, thus limiting the amount of information that the American voters actually have. Ron Paul may not have won. That's fine. But at least let the voters know that he was running. Include him in the debates. Don't disrespect him. And when I saw some of the things taking place at the local level, at the district meetings and whatnot, it was just more than what I, as an American citizen, was willing to just sit by and take. And so I decided I need to run and pick up the mantle where Ron Paul left off. And so now I'm fighting this battle. So if I don't prevail in this race, one thing I do know that I have prevailed in, I change minds with the truth. And those that have heard me, the bells that I have rung, the bells of truth, they will be there when the next time around comes, because those same people going back, things are not going to change. We will continue on this path, and everybody is going to keep everybody focused and distracted on other things until we get to 2016 to decide who's now going to take the place in the office of president. But things aren't going to get better from now to 2016 unless we start to elect people that are willing to go and stand for the Constitution. So that's a long way around of why I'm running. If you had asked me to say it in just one sentence, I'd have said I'm tired of being screwed by the government.
Okay, so talking about the educated voter and so forth, and the voters not getting all the information, what steps do you recommend people who are participating now help to get that word out and do their part?
We have to, the voters, those who do take the time to come out and get educated, they have to be the media now. Look, the royals within the GOP and the Democratic Party are not going to aid us in our cause. Period. It's not going to happen. The only way to get this information out is for us to disseminate that message and stop depending upon corporate media. You're going to have to turn off Fox, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, NBC. They have got to go, because they are a part of the problem. They are owned by, I gave the example of the Circle of Luke. They're owned by those at the top, and they promote and push their agendas. So if we want the truth, we have to depend on people like yourself who will actually take the word. You have to be the free press now, in other words, what I'm saying. So we as voters, as constitutionalists, as liberty-minded individuals, libertarians, true conservatives, we have to be the media, and we have to now start turning to people such as yourself for free press. And when I say free press, I don't mean press that I can just go and get and it doesn't cost me anything. When I say free press, I mean press that is free of bias and undue influence. Press that simply reports the news, the truth of the news. And that's what we've lost in this country.
Well, that's certainly a goal of ours. So say you get elected to office, what are your immediate actions that you're going to try to take up as for the fight?
My top three are to expose the corruption as it relates to the voting process and how legislation is put forth in the games that people play. Where would I start? I would start with presenting legislation that already exists. It's put together by this gentleman over here, Mr. Neil White, along with some other individuals. It's called the Fair Tax. I want to introduce that legislation because top at the list is to get government out of our pocket. We get government out of our pocket. We do that by getting rid of the IRS, the adversarial arm of the government. Of course, we'd have to do some other things, repeal the 16th, and there's some other things that are going to go along with that. But that is where I would initially start. So that gets government out of our pocket. Second, get government out of health care. And I don't want to replace it with anything else. I want government out because the people need to understand that the federal government was not intended to be the be-all and end-all of all of our problems. That is up to the American citizens, and we have states that are set up and are in place to deal with those issues. And there were other steps that could have been taken before we handed the federal government 1/6 of our economy. And most of my opponents want to replace Obamacare and replace it with something else. That's still a part of the problem, and it's still unconstitutional. So recapping, get them out of our pocket, get them out of our health care, and then I'd like to focus on dealing with our veterans. That's a top issue for me, and education. What government has done to the black community, and as it relates to education, they are now attempting to do to the whole of America with Common Core, and that needs to be stopped at all costs. So those are probably my top 4 or 5 issues that I would start right out of the gate. And most of the work has already been done. The hardest part, fair tax, already written, needs to be presented. The others is just a matter of either removing or stopping altogether. And once that's done, then I want to start working on restoring our constitutional protections. The FISA court, CISPA, all of those things that have allowed the government to spy on us. Government needs to get out of our lives.
Great. One final question. How would you describe the American dream?
One that is fast becoming a nightmare for those who understand conservative principles or the Constitution, for those who understand it, for those who look for the government to be the end-all and be-all of everything. Who could ask for anything better? Government will give you food stamps. Government will fix you up with housing subsidies so you can live on Section 8. Government will give you money for, to help you take care of your kids. I think it was Joe Biden who said, look, if you're a single woman out there working a dead-end job, don't worry about it. Just stay home and raise your kids. We're going to take care of your health care. Already got them covered on food stamps. Hey, that is what they now plan to do for the whole of America. And if you think that that's not where we're headed, they've already done it to a large portion of the black community. That's what I keep trying to tell folks. I'm looking around the room. That's what's so amazing to me. We tend to think that it won't happen to us. When I say us, I'm talking about white folks. And I know I'm not a white person, but I'm saying it in the collective, that it won't happen to us. The hell you say? If they've done it to one group of people, what makes you think, look, they got Indians on reservations. Okay, and you got generational welfare amongst black folk. And so with Joe Biden's remark telling a woman, if you're in a dead-end job, just stay home and raise your kid, well, who's going to pay the rent? We are the taxpayer. Well, who's going to buy your food? We are the taxpayer. Well, who's going to next? Look, we're already giving them Obama phones. What's next? Obama cars? So that's where we are headed. So the American dream has become a nightmare for those who know, love, and understand the Constitution. It is becoming the thing to expect for those that don't have a clue, that have been conditioned to entitlements.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it.